Hi, Gemma here from FitBody Formula, and today is the first episode in my new series on weight loss. Tips for everyone out there looking to lose or maintain their weight, or simply just to eat and live more healthily. So if you don't already, then consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss the rest of the series. The weight loss industry is full of myths. However, there are also real strategies out there that have found to be effective over the years. And in this series, I'm going to be looking at these tried and tested weight loss tips. And in the first episode, which is this one, I'm going to be looking at what we should be eating to help us achieve our weight loss goals. So tip number one is to eat more fibre. Eating more fibre is often recommended for weight loss, as it's believed to suppress your appetite. However, evidence suggests that only a specific type of fibre has this effect, and this is viscous fibre. And the more viscous the fibre, the better it is at reducing appetite and food intake. Now, viscous fibre occurs exclusively in plant foods, and rich sources include beans, legumes, and oats, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and flax seeds. And some studies have shown that eating viscous fibre can increase your feelings of fullness, keeping us fuller for longer, and helps us control our weight over the long term. Now, this leads nicely into my next tip, which is tip number two, which is to eat more vegetables and fruits. Now, we all know vegetables and fruits have several properties that make them effective for weight loss. They contain few calories and a lot of fibre, plus their high water content gives them a low energy density, which makes them really filling. And studies show that people who eat vegetables and fruit do tend to weigh less. Tip number three is to eat more protein, and adding protein to your diet is one of the easiest and most effective ways that you can lose weight. Eating a high protein diet has been shown to boost your metabolism by up to 80 to 100 calories per day, which will shave 441 calories per day off your diet. And one study has shown that eating 25% of your daily calories as protein reduced obsessive thoughts about food by 60%, while cutting desire for that late night snacking in half. You want to choose protein sources that are nutrient rich and lower in saturated fat and calories. So you're looking at things like lean meats, seafood, beans and legumes, soy, low fat dairy, eggs, potatoes, broccoli, quinoa, and nuts and seeds, to name just a few. Tip number four is to eat whole single ingredient foods, or in other words, real food. If you want to be a leaner version of yourself, then one of the best things you can do for yourself is to eat whole single ingredient foods. If you're trying to lose weight, one of the things that complicates the process is the consumption of refined and processed foods. You see, the reason for this is that our body is not desired to deal with all of the ingredients used to make the foods more stable, or even to keep them fresher for longer. See, some of the ingredients may be toxic to our bodies, and toxins are dealt with very simply. They get stored in fat cells. So the easiest way around this is to try eat mostly foods with only one ingredient. You know, things like apples, beans and carrots, they're one ingredient food, whereas sausages, bread, packet soups, they're not. You basically need to focus on foods that don't have an ingredients list on the packaging. And these foods are naturally filling, and it's very difficult to gain weight if the majority of your diet is based on them. Now, a quick couple of tips on what not to eat. So tip number five is cut back on added sugar. Added sugar is one of the worst ingredients in the modern diet, and most people consume way too much. Studies show that sugar consumption is strongly associated with an increased risk of obesity, as well as conditions including type 2 diabetes and heart disease. So tip number six is to also eat less refined carbs. Now, refined carbs are grain products that have been processed by a food manufacturer so that the whole grain is no longer intact. So good examples of these are things like white rice, breads and pastas. The refining or milling process actually removes the dietary fibre and the vitamins and minerals from a food product, and studies show that the refined carbs can actually spike blood sugar, rapidly leading to hunger, cravings and increased food intake in just a few hours after eating, and it's also strongly linked to obesity. Guys, if you have any questions about the information, then just pop them in the comments section below and I'll make sure I get back to you. In the next episode, I'll be looking at what we should and shouldn't be drinking to help us lose or maintain our weight. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one, and I look forward to hanging out with you again real soon.